Here is something most people never admit out loud. The most destructive thing you have ever done to a manipulator who was trying to control you was probably an accident. There was a moment, maybe a conversation where you were simply too tired to argue, or a confrontation where something shut down inside you and you just stopped responding, and the other person fell apart. They escalated, they repeated themselves, they said things they couldn't take back. And afterward, you noticed that something had shifted permanently between you. You didn't do anything. That was the entire point. Silence is not passive. At the neurological level, withholding a response to someone who is trying to provoke one is one of the most aggressive acts a human being can perform. Understanding exactly why that is true in the biology of the person across from you is what transforms silence from an accident into a tool you control completely. When someone attacks, insults, or manipulates you, they are making an investment. Their brain has committed resources, attention, energy, social risk toward a specific expected return. That return is your reaction. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, fires when it receives input that conflicts with its model of the world. The person trying to control you needs your amygdala to hijack your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, so that you respond emotionally rather than strategically. An emotional response is what they can work with. An absence of response is what they cannot survive. The mechanism is called threat assessment failure. When you go silent, the other person's brain receives ambiguous social data and cannot determine whether you are calm, planning something, indifferent, or holding information they don't have. The brain treats ambiguity about a potential threat the same way it treats confirmed danger, with cortisol. They begin to flood chemically in the same way they wanted you to. Their prefrontal cortex goes offline in the same way they needed yours to. The tables have not just turned. They have been flipped by a law of neuroscience you didn't even have to invoke. You just had to stay still. There is a specific type of silence that accelerates this process. Call it the held gaze. After an attack or a manipulative statement, you make eye contact, not a glare, not a hard stare, just calm, flat, sustained attention. No eyebrow raise, no small smile, no reaction of any detectable kind. Hold it for 5 full seconds. Most people, when they count to 5 in their head during that moment, feel the eternity of it. That eternity is being experienced in the other person's nervous system as a concrete threat they cannot identify or respond to. Their verbal confidence is collapsing in real time while you do nothing at all. The instinct you will feel in that moment, the urge to soften it, to speak, to reassure, to explain, is not a sign of weakness. It is the deeply human discomfort of watching another person's distress. Recognize it, name it in your own mind, and then keep going. Because that discomfort you feel is a fraction of what they are experiencing, and they created this situation, not you. Silence works differently at different distances in a relationship. With strangers or co-workers, the held gaze is often enough to end the exchange entirely. The person walks away, recalibrates, and treats you differently from that moment forward because their brain has filed you under a new classification, unpredictable. With closer relationships, a family member who uses guilt, a partner who uses emotional manipulation, the silence operates over longer time cycles. Here, the tool is called the response delay. When a manipulative message arrives, a guilt-laden text, a provocative phone call, you do not respond for hours, sometimes a day. When you do respond, you answer only the factual content of the message, not the emotional charge embedded in it. Over time, this trains the other person's nervous system that the manipulative delivery system produces no return. They may not understand why they stop using it. Their brain learns before they do. The escalation phase is the part most people misread. When your silence begins to work, the other person will frequently get louder, more intense, more extreme. This is not a sign that silence is failing. It is the biological signature of it working. The pattern is called an extinction burst, the final, most intense attempt by a behavior to survive before it dies. A child who has always gotten attention by crying will cry harder the first time it stops working. A manipulator who has always gotten compliance through guilt will pour on more guilt the first time it stops working. Your job during this phase is not to engage it. Your job is to be the horizon, present, visible, completely unaffected, and very, very far away. After the burst collapses, and it will because it has no fuel, there is a quiet. What lives in that quiet is a recalibrated relationship. The other person's brain has learned, at a level below language, that you are not a viable target for that particular mechanism. This does not always mean the relationship improves. Sometimes it means it ends. But it ends on your terms and on honest ground, rather than beneath a system of control that was never acknowledged out loud. There is a misunderstanding about what silence communicates. People assume that not responding signals weakness, confusion, or that they have landed a blow. In the short term, a manipulator may interpret your silence as a win. That is fine. Let them. Because what the silence is actually building, across days and interactions and 100 small unreturned provocations, is a reputation inside their nervous system. A reputation that you are expensive, that attacking you produces nothing, that the energy cost of manipulating you is not worth the return. Wars are not won in individual moments. They are won through the sustained, quiet removal of the enemy's reason to keep fighting. The final piece is the internal work, which is the only genuinely difficult part, because silence, as a strategy, only works if it is real. If you are silent on the outside while screaming on the inside, if your stillness is a performance of something you do not actually feel, the other person's nervous system will detect the incongruence, micro-expressions, tension in the jaw, the wrong kind of stillness. What you are building slowly is genuine indifference, not to the person, but to their attempts. The realization that their words only have the weight you decide to give them, that the attack is information about them, not a verdict about you. When you reach that point, when the silence is no longer a tactic, but an accurate reflection of how little their manipulation affects your inner state, you have not become cold. You have become free. The weapon was never really the silence. The weapon was always the peace behind it.